Hi, my name's Rob, and I'm the Head of Strategy at Colenso in New Zealand. I've been asked if I would talk to you for 10 minutes about strategy and ideas, and that's quite a big topic in many ways. Part of it is because I think they're talked about in such a functional way that it undermines their importance. But the other part of it is that fundamentally they're theoretical until you do something with it. And that's why for me, strategy and ideas are great, but they mean nothing until you do something with it. That doesn't mean they're always going to be successful, but there is a success in simply bringing it to the world and putting it out there and seeing what happens. And I think the reason that's important is because, as Rick Rubin says, the reason to finish something is so you can start the next thing. And, I'm old. I'm older than God himself. And I'm still doing this because I love it. Not because I just have bills to pay, but I do love it. I love working with people. I love the different problems. I love the fact that creativity can be expressed and solve problems in any manner of ways. And I just would love us to get back into that. I think there's such a formulaic approach these days. Now, I understand it because clients want to know what they're buying. They want assurance of that. They want to know that they're not spending too much. But so much of that is about worrying about what the input is, where I would love it to be more about focusing on what the output is. What's the change that we could make? What's the impact that we could have on people? What's the way that we change how people see or look at the world? And that might sound all pretty superficial and pretty flippant. I get that. But I do a lot of work with artists, musicians in particular, and fashion designers. And they're incredibly successful because they allow their creativity to go wherever they want it to be. They allow their ideas to be expressed without limits, and they want to honour that idea. They want to do it in the right way. Craft is really important. And I think quite often our industry has separated strategy and creativity to such an extent that they're almost independent forces, and I hate that. For me, the most exciting moment is when you have an idea where you don't know if it's going to fucking crash or burn or just take flight. And for me, the reason why that's so important is it means that you've pushed it as far as you can go. You don't quite know what's going to happen. When people play it safe, I get why they play it safe or safer, but I like to push it to a real extreme. And as I said, because there's always a learning in it, and that's why you need to work with clients who play for the long-term game rather than just these short-term wins. And what we do is important, and it's also very expensive. But our job is to liberate possibility, not just optimize certainty. And, or at least that's not what I'm into. So, I think creativity is a wonderful thing. I think artists maybe embodied it more than our industry, but our industry is really fucking good when it wants to be. When it solves a real problem and it allows its imagination and creativity to do it in a way that nobody imagined, and where the strategy is about opening possibilities rather than just packaging a brief in a slightly better way. That's the industry that I love. That's the industry that's kept me in it for a long time. That's the industry that I really want all the young talent that keeps coming in to embody and embrace, because we're surrounded by systems, success formulas. And you know what? I'm not saying they're wrong, but they're so dependent on contexts and clients and categories. There's a million things. Nobody ever talks about those, which is why one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, and I'm not big on advice because I think you've got to learn your own fucking mistakes, but one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was do what you think is right, because you're going to get fired anyway. I have been fired, but I've done all right out of it. I hope you all have a brilliant time. I hope one day I get to meet you. But most of all, I hope you make work that makes me jealous as fuck, because that would make me very, very happy. Thank you so much.